Yoga seems to be stretching its boundaries with a new class that brings dog owners and their pets together on a rubber mat for a half hour. A New York gym called Crunch Fitness has started a free half-hour class, Rough Yoga, where the well-known downward dog position seems to have been made just for its members. Susie Teitelman and her 2-year-old Cocker Spaniel Coley head the class, where people and their furry friends get together and de-stress and bond together. But dogs will be dogs, and often pet owners have to swiftly detangle from a difficult yoga position to run after their wandering, barking dog and bring it back to the mat. The class incorporates most of the traditional poses, and the dogs are just worked in clever, discreet ways. Dog owner Sarah Klein, who has attended all of the rough yoga positions, says she has noticed that the class has a remarkably calming influence on her Cocker Spaniel Isaac. Sarah said the first time she brought her canine to the yoga sessions, he was hyper, disruptive and noisy. But recently the pooch has been very well behaved, relaxing and doing the poses. In fact, Sarah says that during the week she finds her dog is even a little calmer after a yoga workout. Tracy Alfajora, the owner of Tallulah, an 8-month-old 3-pound Yorkshire Terrier, said that she enjoys doing things with Tallulah, and the yoga sessions were a fun activity, especially for her social pup, who loves to socialise with the other dogs. 24-year-old Yoga for Dogs, sometimes called Doga, has taken hold with pet lovers beyond New York. On bookshelves now is Doga Yoga for Dogs from Chronicle Books. The book, based on the fact that some of yoga's best-known positions are based on the movement of dogs, it has tips on practicing yoga with your dog. And yoga guru Bruce Van Horn, who wrote the book Yoga for Pets and the People Who Love Them, says he has noticed with his own dog that the relaxation of yoga can rub off. Teitelman has a practical approach to the class she inspired. She says there are so many different forms of yoga nowadays, and yoga is about your life. And if your dog is in your life, why not include him in your practice? At the end of the class, the owners recite Om to relax, while it's a quick dip in the pool for their fellow furry friends. It's rhythm by heart, the pastor says, describing the remarkable talent of arguably the world's youngest drummer. Every Sunday, the congregation of an evangelical church in Bangkok meets to pray and sing. Their little wonder has become a phenomenon in Thailand. Titi, the youngest member of the church band, is known as the Little Drummer. He's 3 years old, but he drums like a pro. Siti Arunat, or Titi, has become very used to dealing with the press. In his short life, he has already starred on numerous television shows and has had countless articles written about him in the local press. In Thailand, he has something of a cult following, and the congregation of his church in Bangkok have become used to the television cameras which have started popping up at every Sunday service. Titi's mother, who worked at the church, ran away just a month after giving birth to Titi. He was born with disfigured thumbs, the result of his mother's 2 abortion attempts. Titi was taken in by the pastor, Dr. Tang Sin Chanpong, and his wife, Chirapon. Although loud as a baby, he didn't say his first word until the age of 2.5. But remarkably, from the age of 6 months, he showed a predisposition for beating out rhythms. Chirapon would sit him behind assorted pots and pans, and he would happily be left to play. One of the only other things that could keep him calm was music. Practically from birth, he attended every service of the church, watching enthralled from his playpen as the band played. He would insist on watching every one of the band's rehearsals, and at night, he would sometimes sneak across to the church. They would find him happily playing the instruments, or sometimes asleep, curled at the bottom of the drum set. He was turned away from a formal music school for being too young, but a member of the band agreed to teach him percussion. Having made his first television appearance at the tender age of 2 years and 11 months, Titi is not yet set to go global, but Dr. Daskin has applied for Titi to be listed in the Guinness Book of World Records. While most 14-year-olds are enjoying their summer vacation outside, Greg Smith is in a classroom working out mathematical proofs in his first course at the University of Virginia. Greg is studying for his PhD in mathematics, the first of 4 advanced degrees he intends to pursue. The Wonder Kid has been on a roll since he was just 18 months old when he started solving simple arithmetic problems. By 2, he was reading about dinosaurs. By 5, he could do simple algebra, draw molecules, and had read Jules Verne, his favourite author. So it's no surprise that at 14 years old, less than a month after he graduated from Randolph-Macon College in Virginia, Greg started studying for a PhD in mathematics. Greg has set an ambitious course for himself. He says that he desires to get 4 PhDs in mathematics, biomedical research, aerospace engineering, and political science. But why start with math? Greg believes that science is the gateway to understanding the mysteries of our universe, and that mathematics is the beacon that lights its path. And so he believes one of the most important things in preparing for the sciences is to get a great mathematics foundation. In the classroom, Greg seems to be on par with his peers. He says he's comfortable, despite the fact that some of his classmates are as much as 10 years his senior. Professor Kevin McCrimmon says Greg fits in very well. But it isn't just Greg's supernatural intellect that interests people. It is also his efforts to save children affected by war, violence, and poverty around the world. Greg started International Youth Advocates, a philanthropic organisation with youth ambassadors around the world whose mission is to promote peace and understanding. Through IYA, Greg has helped bring aid to children in Sao Paulo and East Timor. He has helped build a public library in Rwanda, and he also helped establish a school in Kenya that brought together the children of 3 warring tribes. He was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts, not once, but twice. What is his life's mission? Greg's answer is simple: to save the children of the world and make a difference. When he talks about the rights of children and his peace endeavours, his tone is passionate and genuine, although there is a sense that his words ought to come from someone much, much older. When asked what he wants to be when he grows up, Greg replies that he would like to do research in science fields. He'd also like to get a PhD in political science. And with that, he desires at some point to become the President of the United States. Greg loves his country and wants to make sure that in the future he can work as hard as he can to make his country greater than ever before. The Aquafan Park in Riccione, a holiday resort on Italy's northeastern coast, proclaimed the World Kissing Day Games open. Hundreds of people took part in this competition, performing their skills in extravagant events ranging from underwater kissing to basketball kissing. Underwater kissing proved to be by far the most popular, as several couples challenged each other in the longest kiss-in apnea, while being rigorously timed by referees. According to the organisers, the Aquafan enables people to experience closer relationships in a safe, joyful and perfect world, represented by the park itself with its many events and facilities. Pia Pierucci, managing director of the Aquafan, said that the park, as many other amusement parks, aims at creating an ideal city. In ideal cities, the most important thing are people's relationships. The park's objective is to help people build these relationships, giving them the right settings to make friendships or even develop sentimental relations. The formula seems to be successful, as thousands every day queue at the park's gate and rush to conquer a good spot at the pools. In a good summer day, Aquafan sells over 10,000 tickets. For some of the couples participating to the World Kiss competition, the main challenge was to show their prowess as good kissers, even in difficult situations. For others, it proved to be an opportunity to charm and surprise their partner and improve social interactions. Some people struggled against embarrassment. Some others made new friends. One participant, a young Italian by the name of Marco, fervently hoped that his girlfriend's parents were not watching the contest, or his own for that matter. Giovanna and Michelle made up a team when Giovanna's husband refused to take part in the event. Andrea and Gianna, two 22-year-old students from Riccione, won the underwater kissing competition with a kiss that lasted a remarkable 1 minute and 24 seconds, beating everyone else by 15 seconds. A frame made of iron bars, an old sofa for a seat, propellers made of wood, and the whole thing powered by an old car engine. That's Eugene's homemade helicopter. He and his brother have spent countless hours assembling the different pieces of material which they collected from recycling stations or even garbage bins. But can it fly? Well, not quite yet. However, Yu is confident that he'll soon be able to take off on his mission to find the wild man of Shenongjia. Ever since hearing about this mythical Yeti-like creature, which hundreds of people have reported seeing over the years, he has been eager to go and unravel the mystery. Legend has it that the half-man, half-ape creature is roaming the mountainous forests of Hubei province. To get to the remote area, Yu felt a flying object would be most appropriate. His initial plan had been to fly with a gas-filled balloon, but an explosion during the test run not only severely burned his brother's face, but also scarred their flying ambitions. As a laid-off worker with only middle school education, the 49-year-old Yu knows nothing about the technology of aircrafts, but he is not someone who gives up easily. His labour of love now weighs 450 kilos, but time could be running out. Yu's brother staunchly believes that their jumbled helicopter will soon lift off into the blue sky. Although Yu Jian admits that they have missed many opportunities, he still believes that they will get their creation to work and that it will be effective in allowing them to find the so-called wild man. The British have been declared the world's best barroom crooners after winning the inaugural World Karaoke Championships, though they avoided a showdown with karaoke mad Japan, who refused to compete. 23-year-old British restaurant worker Danny Gadby and stock analyst Uche Eke, 31, were crowned champions in the small Finnish town of Heinola in the early hours of the day, after belting out classics such as Frank Sinatra's "Fly Me to the Moon." Each of them went home with 3,500 euros in prize money. Around 70 wannabe singers from 7 countries warbled to the raucous accompaniment of the 500-strong crowd. Karaoke, a type of entertainment invented in Japan, involves performers singing well-known pop tunes to a pre-recorded instrumental backing. In the women's category, Finland's Said Hosvetila won silver, followed by the Norwegian Kristin Ashals. Organisers said Japan and other karaoke-crazy Asian nations refused to take part, claiming there was no tradition of karaoke competition. The contest was the latest in a string of bizarre competitions hosted by Finland, including sauna endurance, mobile phone throwing, and wife carrying, as Finns think of new ways to attract tourists to the remote Nordic country. With an assortment of strange and demanding feats, New York athlete Ashrita Furman is one for the history books. He says he currently holds more Guinness Book of Records than anyone at any time, 20 of them. Throughout his 25-year athletic career, he has set 78, but some of them have been retired or bested, often by Furman himself. Furman says his face is so familiar with the Guinness record keepers that they pretty much trust his new feats. Nevertheless, he brought a team of witnesses, timekeepers and a camera with him to his latest challenge, standing on a ball at the British Heritage Site of Stonehenge. Furman set his own record himself by managing to stand on the ball previously for 2 hours, 10 minutes and 57 seconds. After pumping up his ball to make sure it could hold him, Furman climbed onto it, watched by many a puzzled tourist trying to work out what the man was doing. The wind kept peaking throughout the challenge, but Furman managed to stay on. He says he prefers his team of helpers and timekeepers to sit in his line of vision so that he doesn't nod off, along with constantly keeping his concentration up.
I cannot stay that long, but I can. No.
1 hour, 45 minutes. 2 hours and 15 minutes.
2 hours, 16 minutes and 2 seconds later, the feat was accomplished. Furman had once again managed to break yet another world record. In the record books, the only one who comes close to holding as many current records is recording artist Sir Paul McCartney. Furman can boast records in hopscotch, brick carrying, rope jumping, balancing glasses and milk crates on his chin, and arranging the world's largest bouquet with 70,900 roses. Sunglasses, cage coolers, and the latest season's hairstyles have brought new meaning to the phrase "dog days of summer" in the Netherlands. As a heat wave rolled across the country, Dutch pet owners were shopping to protect their beloved animals from the sweltering heat and burning sun. Pet store Super Animal Land in Rotterdam said the sizzling heat had sparked a run for all sorts of luxury products designed to keep a pet cool. The most wanted item was the Body Cool Bandana, a cotton scarf with moisture-absorbing kernels to chill the main artery in the pet's neck. Placing the bandana in cold water for 15 minutes supposedly keeps the pet cool for 5 days. Other popular items? Dog Cool mats, made from the same moisture kernels. Cage Cool ventilators, dog hats, and sunglasses as well. Canine hair salons are also doing big business, with more people taking their pets for a summer cut. Monique Kuepper of Happy Dogs Hair Salon in Amsterdam said that with warm weather, clients come much more often, for instance, to get the hair on dogs' feet cut. Dogs sweat through their feet, so it's nice for the dog to keep their hair there short so the sweat can go through. If the hair's tangled, the dog cannot sweat. William Plaisier, a salesman, said that in times where temperatures are high, they are flooded with calls from people who are trying to find solutions to keep their pets cool. They are looking for products to protect their pets from the heat. And with more sun forecast, cool dogs have nothing to sweat over. These orange-clad men with TV screens on their heads are the latest mode of advertising in Japan, a high-tech evolution of the traditional sandwich board man. Highly mobile, the monitor men stroll anywhere where people gather, such as the soccer stadium or street, showing television commercials on a specially designed screen attached to a helmet. Tetsuya Nara of advertising agency Hakuhodo Incorporated, which invented the monitor men for a client, said that they started an advertising strategy in which the advertising medium itself is part of the ad, and the monitor man was just one of the ideas. They had wanted to advertise by going directly to the consumer, whether he is in a stadium or a street corner. The headgear with a 13-inch liquid crystal display and the backpack containing the batteries which power the television each weigh about 5 kilograms. Hakuhodo has made 5 monitor men outfits so far for beverage company Suntory. Total cost around 5 million yen. If the thought of leaving Lassie in kennel spoils your holiday, then you can send him to a luxury animal hotel in Germany. Here, you can be sure your pet is relaxing in just as much comfort as you are. Not that the Paws Hotel Resort is restricted to dogs. Cats, rabbits and other furry friends can also take a holiday here. The reception, shop, cafe and swimming pool are open to all. Admittedly, cats tend to avoid playing in the swimming pool, but it is very popular with dogs. The owners of this resort say it is the largest of its kind, and with almost 89 hectares of land, the animal kingdom is almost as big as Monaco. Since its official opening, some of the exclusive suites, which have a private balcony, have been booked by four-legged guests. The dogs love the swimming pool. Admittedly, cats tend to avoid playing in this area. For the more social animal, there are also double rooms available. For those pampered poochers that don't feel safe in the water, there are even fitted life jackets. In addition to a menu a la carte, tailored to the animal's individual preferences, there is also a beauty parlour and a psychotherapist to allow the furry friend to get rid of the everyday stress during his holiday too. But as in any hotel, luxury comes at a price. The price of a room in summer starts at €23. The prices range up to €51 depending on the size of the dog, the length of its hair, and the time of year. It's cheaper to have a feathered friend. Parrots can stay the night for only €7.50, and cats for €15. To see the Tower of Babel or the Sphinx from Giza, you need only go as far as Germany. Wonders of the World is the theme of the Sand World in the northern German town of Travemünde on the Baltic coast. A far cry from the average sandcastles, over 70 artists have created modern wonders and historical spectacles. These artists have spent many hours sculpting Zulu kings and underwater landscapes. Over 9,000 tons of sand were used for the sculptures, some as high as 11 metres, which spread across 10,000 square metres. 5 tons of special sand, where the sand grains have corners, had to be brought in from Holland to help the sculptures. They have to use various tricks to keep their crumbly creations together. An Australian artist, Dan, commented that structurally sand flows like out of an hourglass. When you sculpt with it, it gets a little prickly and wants to fall. The head of his sculpture is held by the hair. The first Sand World drew in over 200,000 visitors. This year, they're hoping the news will spread like sand in the wind and bring many more visitors to their shores. Project leader Jana Kurbis from the Lübeck Tourist Board says there is something for everyone. They have tried to combine great wonders from antiquity with modern world wonders in the sand, in combination with lots of figures with wonderful discoveries and inventions, cultures, human developments, and so on. A trip around the world that's definitely worth it. Every Tuesday morning, Lou's Cineplex in Midtown Manhattan sees around 100 mums and a handful of stay-at-home dads push strollers through the doors, a sight that would normally have other moviegoers and staff filled with dread. But these mornings are special when the Real Mums program actively encourages babies and toddlers to come to the movies. A rare chance for parents to watch new release movies without worrying about disturbing the rest of the audience. Scores of designer strollers are checked at the door, and the small army of mums head for the baby-friendly theatre, armed with feeding bottles, rattles, and nappies. New mum Lee Qureshi said it's a real treat to be able to get out of the house and into a baby and adult-friendly atmosphere where you can come and everyone else is screaming and nursing and changing diapers, and it's totally fine and relaxing. Tanya Horgood said, "It's a wonderful thing, it's a lifesaver," adding that on second thoughts, a sanity saver is probably a better term. For these mums and dads, it's often the first time they've been able to visit a cinema in months. A much-missed treat, according to Stephanie Peters, mother of 4-month-old Stephen. She said that before she had found out about this program, she hadn't seen a movie since her son was born, and it's great to be able to get back to them. To make the atmosphere even more baby-friendly, Lou's puts on a pre-movie show for the tots. Mums sit around on the floor dancing and singing with their babies. It's a chance to socialise with others before the movie. Mums and dads aren't the only ones who benefit from the introduction of weekly playdates. Lou's is hoping to boost ticket sales by courting New York's stroller set on normally slow weekdays, and of course to help breed a whole new generation of moviegoers. Meanwhile, back in the theatre, parents try to gaze intently at the screen showing loud explosions and a dramatic car chase as the din around them from bawling babies grows steadily louder. The aisle morphs into a nappy-changing space, and bottles of baby food are quickly produced as mums try to keep the little ones occupied while they watch the movie. The lights stay bright enough to prevent stumbles and spills, and technicians turn the film's volume down a few notches to keep from startling nappers. Performers from all over the world have been entertaining crowds at the International Folklore Festival in Bulgaria. The colourful festival goes on for 7 days in the Bulgarian city of Veliko Tarnovo. 11 groups from Bulgaria, Greece, Egypt, India, Italy, Colombia, Portugal, Russia, United States, Croatia and Scotland take part. The aim of the event is to develop cultural exchange between the nations as well as popularising Bulgaria's folklore abroad. A folklore school for foreigners has been organised where classes include instructions in Bulgarian national dances and playing traditional musical instruments. The festival is said to be one of the biggest international folklore forums in the Balkans. It is a huge national event with world fame and a unique atmosphere. Aswan in Egypt is distinguished from other areas of the country by its traditional customs and manners. The Aswan Troop was established in 1975 to protect and reflect the great heritage. India was represented by the Punjab Cultural Promotion Council, a registered dance company cum organisation which has performed in Lithuania, Sweden, Thailand, China and the United Arab Emirates. From the United States came Kamenka, set up in 1979 to portray international folk cultures through dance and music. The 30-member ensemble is a non-profit group with members from throughout the southern United States. The ensemble of Kud Vartex Varazden from Croatia was founded in 1946, aligned to the big textile company of the same name. The group gathers many young, enthusiastic people together, workers and students, who spend their free time studying and performing Croatian folklore. From Scotland came the Aloha Colliery Pipe Band, which was formed in the 1950s under the auspices of the National Union of Mine Workers. The union provided the funding of 1 old penny a week from each member. At one time, the band was supported by the workforce of 6 coal mines from the local area. But today, there are no coal mines left. The band, though, continues to uphold its original concept, which was to offer help and support to the local community. They continue to offer free musical tuition on the pipes and drums. There was also the Punjab Cultural Promotion Council. The primary goal of this organisation is to work towards strengthening friendship between countries and to promote international understanding, particularly in the field of folk art. In a scene like something out of the movie Ben-Hur, horse-drawn Roman chariots raced around a horse track in Berlin to the delight of hundreds of spectators. Rapturous cheers and blood-curdling yells accompanied the fast and furious chariot races at the Marienfelder horse track. But while the gladiators taking part might have stage names such as the Centurion and Excalibur, they are not really from ancient Rome, of course, but are of German or Austrian origin, normally engaged in less racy pursuits. The winner of the chariot power sprint, Fritz Ehrensberger, known by his chariot racing friends and fans as Trusus, spends his time off the track carting tourists around the Tyrol in stagecoaches. But when he slips into his gladiator role, he is the master of the ring, brandishing his sword and taunting his competitors. The German chariot racing champion, the Centurion, christened Fritz Deutschenbauer, lets his horses draw wedding chariots when they are not racing. He is one of chariot racing's biggest Ben-Hur fans. He decided if he was going to build a chariot, as he couldn't buy one, that it had to be a proper one. The chariot he brought to Berlin has an axle which is 120 years old and is made of antique iron and wood. Fritz Deutschenbauer's 100-year-old chariot weighs over 600 kilograms and had to be lifted out of the wagon it travelled in with a forklift truck. But that isn't the only disadvantage to it. The authentic chariot not only weighs twice as much as that of Deutschenbauer's competitors, but also has brakes which can easily be clogged by sand, putting him at a severe disadvantage. But that doesn't bother the traditionalist, who even races barefoot like his Ben-Hur hero. I have got the long odds, but that doesn't matter, he explains. Taking part is the important thing. Someone has to come last, and that is me. And that, after all, is the fighting spirit of a true champion.
Super, nicht verkrampft, total locker in Berlin. Wir sind da, wir kommen noch einmal.
Normally one of the first wheeled toys given to 2-year-olds for their birthdays, the bobby car has become almost standard in every child's inventory. More than 10 million bobby cars have been sold since the red plastic toy was introduced over 30 years ago. It is the most popular child vehicle in 30 countries. But when adults buy the car for their offspring, some begin dreaming of racing it themselves. And 35 of those adults descended on Osnabrück to compete in the annual European Bobby Car Championships. Many more parents and proud pint-sized owners of their own bobby cars came to watch. What started as a party gag has now become a serious sport, with clubs, qualifications and championships held annually. To compete in the highest class, one needs a racing license. And the vehicles that shoot down the track have nothing to do with your child's little red car anymore. Stefan Scheidmantel, one of the competitors, says the wheels are the most important. There are two possibilities: wheels filled with air or solid rubber wheels. You decide what you want to drive. Ball bearings are also very important. There are many different philosophies. Some people spend about 2,000 euros on the ball bearings and the hubcaps. The rules state the racing vehicle can be 75 centimeters long, 45 centimeters high, and 50 centimeters wide. It may weigh a maximum of 40 kilograms, and the wheels can have a maximum diameter of 24 centimeters. Motors are not allowed, yet the souped-up cars can reach speeds of more than 100 kilometers per hour on the downhill course. Drivers must wear a motorcycle helmet and protective leather clothing with padding. Most say bobby car driving is absolutely fascinating. The speed It's such a small vehicle, and you are so close to the tar, it makes everything seem so much faster than you actually are. He's a good kitty. In fact, he's the cat's meow. And this is the story of his rise from an obscure litter to stardom. In the course of 18 months, Kuzia has literally come in from the streets and learned to pose, purr, jump, climb, and perform super feline acrobatic tricks. Kuzia has joined the ranks of the 120 performing cats from the Kuklechov Cat Theatre. It is an elite group of performing kitties who play to regular sellout crowds and have taken away top theatre prizes at international competitions. It is also perhaps the only regular performing cat theatre in the world. Kuzia is simply one of their brightest up-and-coming stars. But the road to bright lights, adoring fans and kitty fame hasn't been easy. Kuzia's long climb to stardom began with the most bleak of prospects. He was an unplanned kitty cat, born into a home that simply couldn't keep another kitten. But his owner hoped and dreamed they could find a better life for Kuzia. In a long-shot chance, she brought him to the Kuklechev Cat Theatre for auditions. The theatre rarely accepts cats from the street. It can breed its own with fine acting pedigrees. But Kuzia's lack of fear and curiosity impressed veteran circus clown and theatre owner Yuri Kuklechev. Kuklechev agreed to take Kuzia into the theatre on one condition. The theatre's resident veterinarian had to examine and approve the mixed Siberian Shorthair. It is a crucial exam. Not only must Kuzia be healthy, he must be on good behaviour. The new cats give him the smell down. He's now one of the troupe. In a sense, Kuzia now has it made. Dmitry enters Kuzia into an intensive training program of several hours each day to discover his strengths and work through his weaknesses. The Kuklechevs say that each cat has different skills and different personalities and must be approached in a unique way. But a cat must not only be understood, it must be loved. And all the love pays off. Not only has Kuzia settled in with the other cats in his large cage, but by 3 months, he had begun to hone skills crucial for performance. Kuzia, it turns out, is a jumper and pole walker. These are skills that place him on track to possibly become one of the theatre's stars. Dmitry slates him for a performance just 7 months after he joined the troupe. Kuzia will walk along a narrow wooden pole with loud music blaring and hundreds of kids cheering and laughing. And Kuzia pulls it off without seeming to shed a hair. "7,000 plastic rabbits in Nuremberg's old city have commemorated the 500th anniversary of Albrecht Dürer's painting, The Great Piece of Lawn, recreated as The Great Piece of Rabbit." Nuremberg art professor and sculptor Ottmar Herl introduced his work, a combination of Nuremberg native Albrecht Dürer's works The Great Piece of Lawn and The Rabbit. According to Herl, his work is not creating a homage to Dürer, but rather to confirm his works. Reactions to the work of art were mixed. One bystander was full of praise, saying that it's art, and she really liked it. Another onlooker believed that for Dürer, painting was art and not the thousand-fold production of rabbits. But he said he had nothing against it as far as it does not cost taxpayers any money. The artist paid some 130,000 euros for his project, financed by sponsors. According to the website of St Andrews University in Scotland, Albrecht Dürer was the third son of Albrecht Dürer and Barbara Hofer. He was one of their 18 children, and the Dürer family came from Hungary. Among Dürer's major works is his portrait of Erasmus, painted in 1520. Albrecht Dürer was born in Nuremberg on May 21, 1471, and died in the same city on April 6, 1528.